Hello everybody! Did you miss me? It has been a while since I posted a video, but I am back because it is time for the Women's Prize predictions. I have some housekeeping to go over first and foremost for those of you who are regular followers and care. For the rest of you who are just here for the predictions, I shall leave a chapter so you can head straight there. But for the rest of you, I've had some comments, questions asking whether I'll be following the non-fiction prize this year or only the fiction. For me, I am very much a fiction reader, so my plan is to stay firmly within the Women's Prize for Fiction. But who knows, the non-fiction long list is announced imminently within the next couple of hours, and so who knows, maybe I'll be reading one, probably maximum, from that list, but I certainly will not be producing content around it. Just because I am not a non-fiction reader typically. It is also my birthday this week. It is the last year of my 20s. I am 29 years old. Do let me know down in the comments which decade was your favourite decade of your life, because as I'm now approaching that 30 and it's the last year in my 20s, it almost, whilst I feel really happy about it and I feel really invigorated in where I am in life and how work's going and all of these different amazing things that I feel really great in my life, still 30 is right around the corner. And so I'm really interested to hear, because I have such a varied age range of people who watch my channel, it'd be interesting for me to hear what your favourite decade was. Also around Christmas time, people were asking me where they can send gifts, where they can send books, because I live in Bali, for those of you who don't know, and so getting stuff to me is really difficult because of importing things to Indonesia. And so what I said to those of you who are asking over Christmas is to use my online tip jar. So I will leave that linked down below in case you wanted to use it. No doubt with the Women's Prize long list fastly approaching, and also the International Booker Prize long list being announced very soon as well, I will be buying a lot of books. Also, one final thing in the housekeeping genre, this is back by popular demand. This is my Bookmas intro that I am de-Christmasifying and going to use for my main channel videos going forward, because several of you have contacted me saying that you really liked the Bookmas intro, and so I'm going to keep it at least for a little while. I think it's really cute and really nice, so I should be keeping that. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into my predictions list. The first book that I want to see on this list is Jesmyn Ward's Letters to Send. I have really enjoyed Jesmyn Ward's trilogy in the past. She's a really great writer within the literary genre. This is blurbed as a reimagining and subsequently a reclamation of American slavery, inscribing Black American grief and joy into the very land of the Deep South, and said to be her most magnificent novel yet, so I feel like this has to be on the list, no? Next up is The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez. This is a very strange premise because this is about a bird who is abandoned by her parents during COVID. Yes, you heard that right, a bird. And it is from this place of vulnerability that Nunez, in a very meta way, is writing about life, the future, and the essence of writing itself. The protagonist's life and Nunez's life resemble each other very closely, and so really it's supposed to be the author's own voice and experience coming across here. Next up is Vanessa Chan's debut novel, The Storm We Made, which I read along with my book club at the start of January. If you'd like to be a part of the book club, sign up links always in the description box down below. This is a multi-perspective, multi-timeline historical fiction saga set in Malaya, following various members of one family through wars, invasions, occupations, labour camps and spy operations throughout the kind of mid-20th century. Whilst being incredibly brutal at times, this is ultimately an incredibly engaging and moving piece of historical fiction that I feel will capture the judges' attention and also the subsequent readers of the Women's Prize. Next up, surely to God, this author has to be nominated this year, Louisa Hall, for her book Reproduction. I feel like this is one of the most relevant topics being talked about today, especially coming out of the US right now, where women's rights on their own bodily autonomy is being threatened / removed. And so I would love for the Women's Prize judges to get behind such a timely subject matter. So in this book we are talking about abortion and this sort of Handmaid's Tale-esque way that especially the US is going right now with its rights around women's bodies. Because I know the first question that springs to my mind when making a deeply personal choice about my body is, what does a bloke think? I need to go and ask a bloke for his opinion. Please. This is being called a genre-defying novel exploring the surreality of pregnancy, childbirth, and motherhood in a country in crisis. The country in crisis, for anyone who's not sure, is America in this book, but let's face it, the state of the world today, we could be talking about several countries. This is a story about a novelist who is attempting to write a book about Mary Shelley, whose harrowing experiences of pregnancy reveal the human cost of reproduction. But on top of this, you also have another layer of plot as the novelist is battling with her own pregnancies and miscarriages and births. And this meta element is overlaid over the top of the Mary Shelley narrative. This next one, I'm really not sure if the Women's Prize are going to touch this, given what this book is about. This is Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad. Will a prize like the George Orwell Prize for Political Fiction pick this sort of book up? Yes, absolutely they would, because this is centering on Palestine. But will a prize like the Women's Prize for Fiction pick this sort of book? I'm not sure, just because they generally are not political. They are commercial. Their goal as a prize is to sell books. It's not to wade into international debates on geopolitics and war. I am really hesitant about adding this. For me, I want to put it on my predictions list. This basically follows an actress as she travels back to Palestine and takes up a role in a West Bank production of Hamlet, telling a story of artistry under occupation. Taking the unofficial spot for a romance novel on the 2024 longlist, I think this is going to go to Claire Daverley's Talking at Night. This has been described as, you guessed it folks, Sally Rooney's Normal People. When are people going to stop comparing their book to Sally Rooney's Normal People? Maybe next decade? I have started reading this and I am hesitantly optimistic because the writing has been really great so far. This is a love story between two teens who keep coming together and falling apart throughout their adult life, which is a concept that I really love the sound of. I'm already enjoying the writing, so let's hope this gets picked up by the Women's Prize judges. The next book that I think is going to be nominated for this year's longlist is Renee Denfield's Sleeping Giants. This is in the mystery thriller genre and is looking at the monsters lurking in the foster care system. But don't worry, it's not just a total trauma porn plot for 300 pages. No, I would not be interested in that. So instead, this looks at Amanda, a grown woman who is trying to find out more about her adopted younger brother. She teams up with a local retired detective, Larry, and their search leads them to an abandoned boys' home for troubled youth on the coast of Oregon. I really like the Washington, Oregon area of the US topographically, and so I feel like having a novel set there, being immersed in that landscape for the length of a novel would just be a delight. As well as I feel the relationship between these two characters will be a really intimate one, because they're going to presumably be going on road trips, finding out more information, having I can imagine having conversations in the car on these long road trips, getting to know each other, and also what is bringing them together, why they're both so emotionally invested in this quest. They're both seeking out purpose and the meaning of life, and they are also at the same time taking up the mantle for uncovering suspected crimes that have happened in the past in their area. And finally, the last book that I'm going to mention here that I think is definitely going to be nominated for this prize is Sipang Zan's Land of Milk and Honey. I've read this. It was absolutely absurd. It's based in a future where there's no food on the whole planet because the land has been surrounded by this like smog, which means things won't grow, and so everyone's eating this like disgusting grey slop, apart from the elite who have money and can grow, you know, the best food and the best strawberries and wine and salmon and all these sorts of things. And so she is a chef and she goes to cook for them. But at the same time, it's like reading a really erotic piece of food fiction, because she's describing the sensuality of eating all of these new foods that she hasn't eaten in a significant amount of time, because she's been eating the grey slop that the rest of the world has been eating. But at the same time, it is very sensual to the point of sexual, and so it's almost like, right, is this repressed sexual desire? Is this repressed food desire? Like, what is going on here? So this one is hilarious and completely ridiculous, but I really do like it. I do like dystopian. I've been getting into environmental dystopic novels, and this one does fill the brief, even if it is really weird. Alright, I shall see you in a couple of days, because I'm going to be also posting a follow-up video to this, where I'm going to be giving you all the novels that I absolutely do not want to see on this long list. On pain of death, I do not want them nominated for this prize. I shall see you very soon, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a great Women's Prize season. I will also be on the plod along with another guest that I'm super excited about, but I'm going to keep my lips sealed because I haven't actually been told if I'm allowed to talk about it or not. If you want extra videos from me every month, check the link in the description box below. I put out a reading vlog and a reading wrap-up every month for my members. Access to that is in the description box. And with that, I shall see you very soon in my next video, guys. Bye!